The Michael Berry Show.
Paul Jacobs is our guest. Paul?
Good morning.
Welcome to the program, sir.
Mr. Berry. Thank you, sir, for having me.
Are you a white man?
I am not. I'm African-American, sir. Originated out of western Kansas, place called Hill City, Kansas. And we're here in Houston, Texas by way of my wife.
Where is she from?
She is Houstonian, and she was raised went to Madison High School in the area where our restaurant is currently.
And how did you start this barbecue joint?
Man, my family and I was just messing around a lot. Our church members, some of them would come to the house, and they'd eat my barbecue, and it's been something I've been doing since 2011. And we started getting orders, Mr. Berry, and our church members just started ordering. It seemed like every other week we'd have barbecue orders going out to families. And someone said, you need to go in business for this because this is probably some of the best barbecue. This is what the people told me that they've ever eaten. And we did that. And, for 4 years straight now, we've been becoming known in the community, Houston and surrounding areas.
They didn't steal from Pit Room or Good Company. I mean, that's kind of a compliment.
I guess those are some my brothers over there at those places. There's some good barbecue over there.
No.
Definitely
Those are white guys.
With any of them. Yeah. They still a pitmaster brother. It don't matter
that's
what
its own
color,
brotherhood. Okay.
You are.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Paul, I'm
sir.
sorry.
Yes, sir.
I'm on your website. Is it Jacko's?
It's Jacobs, sir.
Jacobs. Okay. Your name is Paul Jacob, no S or with an S?
That's without an S.
Okay, so you're Paul Jacob.
III.
Okay, so you're Paul Jacob. Paul Jacob the third. I see that. PJ3. So you're Paul Jacob
Yes, sir.
the third, but it's called Jacob's Barbecue. Now, why not Jacob's Barbecue?
I didn't want it to be about me, right? It's about the food, and if we didn't have to use my name, I would move that in that direction. But it is what it is. We went with Jacobs, and that's now. Of course, my family members like Dad, my daughter, son. Yeah, why don't you just say Jacob Barbecue? And it just didn't. It wasn't to me. I didn't like it. And so I just stuck with the Jacobs.
I kind of like it. It's growing on me. It's a little different. I think I'm just more embarrassed I got it wrong, and so I'm looking for something to pick about. I do like the logo. You can call me Mike or Mike B because you're black. I don't let white people call me Mike because my name is Michael, but black folks call me Mike anyway. So
yes,
you can go ahead and do that. Is that you in this photo? Where are you in this photo of the team? There's a big fellow with glasses.
I am the gentleman. Yep, that's me.
On the far left?
Yes, sir. On the, I don't have I believe it's I'm the heavy set guy on the next to my wife right there.
Oh yeah, she's wearing a red. What do you call that?
On the far left.
Some kind of headgear. What do you call that?
I'm not looking at that photo right now. I'm actually out here at the pit putting meat on as we talk.
And what is her name?
My wife's name is Martha Jacob, and she's a postal worker for 30 years.
Oh,
I'm trying to get her to get away from that place and come over here and help me out.
Well, yeah, that would help. So you're in Hiram Clark. I know Hiram Clark, but
Yes, sir.
but where exactly are you? Get me there from downtown. Drive me there from downtown.
So if you're coming from downtown, sir, you're going to go all the way around to Main Street.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're going to pass up the stadium and get off on Main Street.
Mm-hmm.
Make a left and go toward, like you're going toward the Sugar Land.
Mm-hmm.
Make a left, not opposite of downtown.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to come up on a road called Hiram Clark.
Yep.
Off of Main.
Mm-hmm.
Off of Main Street. And you're going to make that left on Hiram Clark. You're going to pass up Orem.
Mm-hmm.
and we're in between Orem and West Fuquay.
Yep. And that's you.
And if you went past up, and that's us. We're right there.
How long have you been there?
4 years, sir.
4 years?
Yes, sir.
What were you doing before that?
So I worked for a company called Internoc. That's oil and gas industry. We had a software that monitored, large enterprises. It could be the city of Houston, a school district, all of their facilities. This software brought energy information to their fingertips. The archaic way of those guys were utilizing was Excel spreadsheets with teams of 100 people managing every facility. We were able to bring energy information to their, unfortunately it put a lot of people out of business, but we were able to bring that energy information to those guys' fingertips. So,
and then did you just walk away to start this business?
No, Internoc sold out to another company, and like 90% of the people who did not want to take the packet that was being offered from the new buyer.
But you did.
We took our
one door closed and another door open.
No, I didn't go.
Hold with me just a second, Paul Jacob. I won't interrupt you in the next segment. Hold on.
Well done, sir. This is the Michael Berry Show.
Why don't you just tell me what happened, Paul?
Well, last Wednesday, we do close at 7 p.m. Every day, except for Monday. Mondays we close at 5 o'clock, 11 to 5 on Mondays, 11 to 7 Tuesday through Saturday, and we're closed on Sunday. However, on last Wednesday, mind you, we've got barbed wire fence on the entry fence, 8 foot. We have a pit that's a commercial rotisserie pit that is locked down with locks, welded locks. So it would be very difficult to get into this pit.
Mm-hmm.
They literally spent some time. If you look at the video, gentleman on Wednesday spent some time, upward of 24 minutes trying to get that pit open and was successful. He started with a shovel, pried around for about 12, 14 minutes, walked away, came back with a tool. And that tool was able to penetrate the chain, break it from the welded, this is all steel,
mm-hmm.
And was able to penetrate that and get through and pull all the meat off. That was on Wednesday. All of that is on video camera. We've taken measures over the last few years and trying to protect because we were hit a couple years ago a few times. My concern has always been that, them taking that meat at that early in the morning, that meat's only been on 4 hours maybe, so it's still pretty raw. Yeah.
You're less concerned that they've stolen your barbecue as that they won't know how good your barbecue is.
Yeah, I mean, what are they? Are they putting this stuff back out on the street?
Yeah, it's not like they're going to go. Yeah, they're not going to go out and finish it.
You're not. So I mean, what else are they doing with it? But no, I'm very concerned. It's a violation. I don't know if you've ever been robbed or somebody broke in your home. You feel violated. And anyway, so that happened, and then 2 nights ago, it happened again. Another individual. This is a whole separate person. The first night was an African American, that is, and then the second 2 nights ago, it was a Hispanic guy that came in, and he was unsuccessful because last Wednesday, after all that happened on Thursday. Well, the same day, actually, I called my welder, and he came out and did something to the pit to where he was pretty confident that a person would have a hard time breaking into the pit. So thank God I got that done. He also did something with the fence because you can see the fence where it was taken off of, like, the hinges. It's an 8 foot. It's a heavy fence.
Mm-hmm.
My welder had to literally lift it lift that fence with a jack. He and his father lifted that with a jack to get it back up on the hinge. And so he did some kind of welding to it to where it would not be easy for them to like unscrew the bolts and lift it up and get through the fence. However, the guy that came 2 nights ago, he bent the fence terribly. I don't know. It was a strong guy because I noticed the front, he had done, pushed out the ice, the cooler, the ice cooler that's outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
He moved that. Like it took 5 of us to move that back. You can see it in the video. He literally moved that thing by himself. So I was shocked that he was unable to penetrate that pit. But anyway, he literally, you could see he was very aggressive in trying to get that pit open, and he was unsuccessful. But we just had a lot of damage on, fence damage, pit damage. That from 2 nights ago, he was unable to get the meat from the pit. And I'm just glad that my welder, I called him when I did, because there could have been another meat loss. And, we serve, our briskets are running from anywhere from 105. I try to and we've been doing this for 4 years. We always serve the best brisket. And so our briskets are running, 105 to 112, just depending on, if it's a 15, 17, 18, 20 pounder, just depending on how big it is. So, I mean, this stuff is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a hit on any small business. And I got a lot of friends in the restaurant business, even barbecue guys, that they've gone out of business here recently in the last, year. They've closed their doors because the cost is the margins are very slim once you got your sales tax, you got your employee tax, you got federal tax, you got, it's just a lot of different things, and it just takes away your margins. I mean, just to have a sign on the building, you got to pay the city a certain amount of money a year. So our margins are very slim, and that's why 90% of your barbecue restaurants, the food is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's just, it's really hard trying to stay in business. But when you get hit, and we're small business, we're very small business. We serve over 100 people a day. A lot of teachers in the surrounding area, we get a lot of business here, and we're day to day. The money we make today, it's used for food for tomorrow. And we pray about payroll. And so me and my wife, we're coming out of our pockets, 3-4 times a month just to make sure everything is covered. So a hit like that, you put, the police officers that came out yesterday, they are the ones who value the fencing and the pit to protect me, to say, if you get an estimate for the fence, if things change, if it's less or if it's more, just let us know. But they put a number and said, hey, man, this fence is going to cost you upward of the whole front end of that fence to get it. If they don't make, the way it's bent and everything is just, it's going to be upward of $12,000 just for your fence. And I couldn't give it. I'm not a fence guy. I can't give them, an estimate of what it costs, but I do have companies that I've reached out to come take a look at that. But I'm not worried about it now, because that pit is sealed, and it will take, you would have to come and like weld it loose to get in that pit. That's how sturdy my welding guy, he made it real tough for somebody to get back in there.
Paul, I'm going to put the word out for somebody to come out and donate the repair and or replacement of your gate, so we can get a good quality gate there, or pick up the expense for your guy to do it, whatever you desire, and we'll work that out. Do you need to close that door or put your seatbelt on?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm listening to you, man, Mike. That's
what are you doing?
I don't have words right now.
What are you doing?
Sir, I'm going back and forth from the store and the pit.
So Jim, my creative director, called the store, and Martha answered. Does she go into the store before she goes to work delivering mail?
Yes, sir.
That's a keeper there.
She's one of the hardest working. Yeah. Oh, man, she's one of the hardest working women I know. That's why I can't stop. As long as she's going, I'm going to continue to go.
Y'all got
I can't
kids?
have a woman, We do, sir. We have a daughter that just graduated college, Texas State. She's working at the restaurant.
Okay. What's her name?
Helping us until she Amaya Jacob.
Okay.
Amaya Jacob.
Well, until she's
Amaya
what? Why
got
can't
2
she stay at
degrees
the restaurant?
Well, I mean, that's up to her. I don't force anything on the kids. I want them to do what makes them happy.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't want to interfere with their goals, what they're trying to do.
I love going into the family restaurant. Levi Good, good friend of mine. He took over for his father, Jim Good, and has done extraordinarily well. And you see this with families. I love that idea. Lots of families used to do that, but then the kids went off to college and thought they were too good to work for the family business. I'm not saying that's Amaya's situation. I notice your brisket is $28 a pound, which is kind of consistent with the inner loop barbecue joints, a little bit cheaper, but it goes down to $22 a pound, which is much lower than other folks if you order for 25 or more. What is the price break there? How many pounds do you have to order to get that?
Well, we do it by person, right? Because we do a lot of catering. And we do a lot of catering. Those folks, normally it's a 200 person or more catering.
Okay.
But that's what we're doing different than the other restaurants, because a lot of the other restaurants, I think, are overpriced, right? Maybe I need to get like them. I don't know, Mr. Berry, but I'm trying to be different. I'm trying to make it, where a blue collar worker who is making, $45,000, $50,000 can come and feed his family, some of the best barbecue, according to what thousands of people have told me, can get some delicious food for their family at a reasonable price. We just went up on our brisket maybe 2 months ago or less. In 4 years, we never raised our prices, but it's gotten out of hand.
Where are you from originally?
But we're still. So Nicodemus, Kansas is where we lived. I went to school in Hill City, Kansas, western Kansas, sir.
You got collard greens on the menu. I hope you're using Martha's recipe, because y'all don't know anything about collard greens in Nicodemus, Kansas. You're in Houston now, buddy.
Martha's deal is Martha's deal is the mac and cheese and the potato salad. But everything else, sir, everything else is me.
How would you describe her potato salad? Because I'm not a potato salad eater, but there's different. There's the mustard base. How would you describe hers?
So hers has very little mustard. It does have mustard, the mayo, but it's a good sweet. But it also has a flair of the what is the word, of the rub type flavor to it. But it's an amazing potato salad that we sell a lot of. All our sides, every last one, the mac and cheese, the 3-meat bean, Cajun stew, the collard greens, the potato salad, the dirty rice, all of these things are made from scratch. And every last dish, when the Food Network came out last year and they filmed the Food Truck Wars was filmed here in Houston, that week their crew, it was a crew of about 32 people, ate at our restaurant every single day. Other people on that Monday and Tuesday were going to other restaurants. And then the word got around to their other teammates that, hey man, you guys got to go eat here. And they came through every single day. And they were telling us that they had gone all over the world eating smoked meats, and they had never had anything like that. And that's just not the meat. They pointed out the size, every single side. To them, what they said was award-winning on the sides. So when I say there's a lot of love put in each dish, sir, according to what people tell me, it's something that's really different. And if you haven't, if you like to go and try something at least once in your life, this would be that barbecue.
So what I'm going to challenge our listeners to do is to stop in on you. It looks like you're open from 11 to 7 today, all the way through Saturday. Just closed on Sunday. Open 11 to 5 on Monday. So 11 to 7 today. I'm going to challenge our listeners to swing by your place and to eat and to buy an extra meal of whatever that is, $30, that you reserve for a police officer, so that we can feed any police officer that stops by in uniform, and our listeners will do it. I know they will. I think it's perfect because we get to honor our police officers and we get to buy more barbecue. I've received several emails. I'll ask you for a contact here in a minute off air. Several emails from folks saying that they want you to cater their company. I don't know how many of those you'd be able to handle today with everything else already going on, so maybe we'll push those for days in the future. But I think this is our listeners are very good at, boycotts aren't fun. A boycott is a blast. So our listeners love to spend money for food for a good purpose. Hold on just a moment. Jaco's Barbecue, JACO, or you can email me and we'll work it out. This guy opens this joint. You got all the costs. You've heard me say this over the years. You got all the cost of securing the land, whether that's a lease or a purchase, doesn't matter. You got all that. Then you got to put all the equipment in. You wouldn't believe what restaurant equipment costs. Then you got to buy all the supplies to open the first day. Then here's the real trick. You got to hire people to work on day one, but you had to have hired them before you opened. So you have to have paid them while you trained them. You had to find people to go to work. And I don't know if you know, it's hard to find good people out of work that are willing to work. And you can't pay high wages because no matter what you charge for your barbecue or burgers or whatever else, people feel like it's too much. They don't know the cost of operating a business. So you got all these costs to start, and then you open and you hope to goodness that people will show up. But why would they? They don't know you're there and you don't have any money to market. Then you open, and that first day you got to hope that you sell what you made. Otherwise, you eat, literally and figuratively, financially and personally, what you don't sell. And then you hope you get to the point. And barbecue is a tough business. A lot of people don't like what's happened in barbecue. The we close when we sell out that Ronnie Killen, I think, should probably be credited with establishing. And even Ronnie has had to close restaurants. And that guy gets more pub than Chris Shepard. Okay, I got carried away. But I don't, more people know of Ronnie Killen from the media than anybody. And even he has struggled. And not because he's not a great guy or doesn't work hard. It's a tough business. And I think people have to understand how difficult it is. And you got all of that, and as he said, the permits, the signs, all of that mess you got to deal with. I mean, just the first time you buy toilet paper, first time you buy all your paper goods. So y'all know I had Republic Barbecue, and when we'd go through our budgets, I'd look at the revenues and I go, okay, not where I want them to be. All right, but we can live with that. And then you look at the other side of the ledger and you go, what in the hell? How come we're paying all this money for knife sharpening? Well, we got to have it. The company would come in and sharpen your knives. I said, we got to find ways to cut. Let's cut the knife sharpening. And Jason, my chef, said, my pitmaster at that time said, well, that's just going to mean more labor cutting. It saves us labor if the knives are sharp. It just never stops. And then you show up and the door is beat to hell and your brisket has been stolen that you were planning on selling that day. And so now you got to turn people away when they arrive. Is that what you did, Paul? You turned people away when they arrived? Oh, you lost him? You thought we were done with him? The hell, I did all that intro and then I got no guest? What? You found it interesting? Did you write his number down? Okay, we'll call him back. What in the hell? Ooh. Between you and my wife, I don't know what I'm going to do. Yesterday, I got mad because I told her X and she thought I said Y. And I was so proud of myself. I didn't rant and rave and nobody listens to me and blah, 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 blah. I just swallowed my pride. Kind of, let me a little bit. But she's such a saint that you cannot You cannot scold her the way a husband would scold a wife, and a wife a husband. You can't do it because then she's just so nice and she's so decent, and I'm not. And you end up feeling bad about that for the rest of the time. Oh, I wish, Nandita, I wish you'd have checked with me before you let him go. I didn't even say goodbye. You got him? He's probably back on the pit again now. Paul?
Yes, sir.
I don't know where you went. Ramon got rid of you. I wasn't ready for him to get rid of you. I was telling how difficult it is on a business. I got a series of questions. I want you to answer each one in 10 seconds or less, okay?
Let's go.
Where were you born?
Houston, Texas.
And then when did you move to Kansas?
When I was about 6 years old. Parents divorced.
Ooh, that was a downgrade.
Yes, sir.
And you lived there until what age?
17.
And then what happened at 17?
Colby Community College.
Oh, you said
then Texas Southern University.
Okay. Did you graduate?
Colby, yes. Not from Texas Southern.
What were you studying?
Criminal law.
And then what did you do after that?
After Texas Southern, I got into the restaurant business as a manager for Shoney's restaurant. After Shoney's, I went to Xerox as a copier salesperson. Then jumped into the energy business after that.
And how old are you today?
I am 55, sir.
I'm 54, so I'm right there with you. And you just have
Yes,
the one
sir.
daughter, Amaya?
I have Amaya, and my son is Paul Jacob IV. Amber passed away at the age of 17 in 2013. So Paul and Maya lost their big sister when they were, 7, 8 years old, somewhere in there.
Whew, that's rough.
Yeah, still is.
I don't know that you ever completely heal from that. So walk me through, again, these are short answers. Site selection. How did you pick that site?
This particular site was close to where my wife was raised, and her mother lives very close to here. So this is the area that my wife was raised in.
What church did she grow up in? Remus Wright's church?
She was a raised Catholic. So St. Benedict was the church she was raised in.
Interesting. I think Remus Wright's church, Fountain of Praise, is pretty close to there on Orem, isn't it?
Yes, Pastor Wright is very close. Absolutely.
Remus and Mia, is that his wife's name? Do I remember that right?
Mm-hmm.
He used to.
I'm not for sure what her name was.
I think it's Mia. She's actually the co-pastor. I used to enjoy going to watch the way he would come on to preach. He would sing as he came from the back, and he would sing a gospel song as he walked up, and then he would welcome the parishioners, and then he would begin his sermon. It was beautiful. I've never seen anything like that. Well, I have seen something like that. Jimmy Swaggart would do that. Jimmy, I don't know. It might be where he got it. It's an old tradition, I'm sure, but I had not seen it. I had not seen it. Okay, so we found the site. Did you buy it or lease it?
We're leasing. We're leasing here, and we have two options now going on. The next door, there's a building going up. We've already received our proposal for our space there for the sit-down restaurant.
Hold on, right? Just one second.
This is the Michael Berry Show.
I'm behind on my emails and messages. I'll get to them in just a moment, but I saw the first one that came in during the last segment from Louis Flory of Ability Tree Service, the Tree Whisperer. And he said, I'll do 500. I'll give them $500 toward police officer lunches. And I said, well, could you swing by? I think they would love to meet you face to face. So he is out making his meetings with our listeners, and he's got it all mapped out. So I don't know what time today he will be by there, but I told him to make sure he sees you, Paul, and he'll pay directly for officers. And I'm encouraging all of our listeners to swing by Jayco's Barbecue and to pay for another meal so that any law enforcement officer, I've asked the Houston Police Officers Union to put the word out for any officer in that area to swing by and hopefully we'll have prepaid meals so they won't have to cover it that day. Paul, so let's go through. You secured the site. How long from that time to when you opened the doors?
The time that I secured the site?
Yeah, how much work had to be done?
From open? Nothing at all, because I already had a commercial pit. The kitchen, everything was in the kitchen. Now, mind you, this is a takeout. This is not a sit-down restaurant.
Okay.
This is not a sit-down
restaurant. So that's why you're trying to get
restaurant.
The location next door so you'll have a sit-down.
Absolutely. But I was just reached out to yesterday. A guy called me and heard our story, and he said he had a restaurant with everything in it from a customer who backed out on it, or they went bad on their lease. And so I got another offer as well on the table. Like, he wants me to come to his space. And he said everything is in this restaurant.
What part of town is it?
It's very close. It's Pearland, at the edge of it was right there at 288 and the Beltway off of Feta. There's a RV park right there, and it's next door to that. Okay. Right next door to that. So that guy's offered me space over there with a very generous lease. So I mean, it's things are changing overnight.
Do you have any picnic tables out front?
Man, I don't have any picnic tables out front. Unfortunately, at this place here, that's why I have to hurry up, because for the last 2 years, when are you getting your? I'm like, man, we're barely staying open here. We can't, afford to go get a sit down restaurant. It's just a big expense. But
it is a big expense.
We've been very patient.
Is there room for picnic tables? Because I like picnic tables.
Oh yeah, we got
sweet tea?
Room out there in the front. We don't have sweet tea, but we have a Kool-Aid that everybody loves. Several flavors.
Paul, white people don't drink Kool-Aid.
Hey man, you'll be surprised. And my 60% of my customers are white. 60% of they come in and they order Kool-Aid.
You know why?
It's shocking.
Let me tell you why. Craig Joseph at This Is It Soul Food used to tell me, I would laugh and I would walk in, and he's a retired firefighter. His grandfather started that business.
My friend Craig.
Yeah,
I know.
Jason's Lyric.
My customer. Yeah,
great. Jason's Lyric was filling there. And I used to go in and give him grief, and I'd say, Craig, what are you doing with Hogs Maw? White people don't want no Hogs Maw. And he'd say, you'd be surprised, Michael. They come in here and they want to try it. They want to try chitlins. They want to try Hogs Maw. And I'd say, and then what do they think? He says, ooh, that's horrible. He said, I tell them that was slave food. We keep that alive as a tradition, not because it tastes good. That was slave food. That was the worst food. You don't serve that at Tavern on the Green. Yes, indeed.
No, you're not going to get that over there.
All right, Paul, here is my challenge to our listeners. Our listeners are amazing people. You'd be surprised. They're so resourceful. Somebody out there, how much room do you have? How many picnic tables do you have room for if I get them delivered? Somebody out there delivers picnic tables.
Are you serious?
Well, it's not. Man, it hadn't happened yet, but I know our listeners.
I mean, for right now, upward of 3 maybe.
Yeah, you don't need that many. You turn them, and picnic tables already speak to the family seating style. Somebody's there, you just kind of walk over and go, hey, can I join y'all? And they just kind of scooch over a little bit.
Right.
You should never have 2 people on a picnic table anyway.
Exactly. You got me walking in front of the store here. 1, 2, 3, 4 could probably go out there, maybe 4.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Somebody's going to email me on the show through the website, michaelberryshow.com, and bring you by at 14151 Hiram Clark. 14151 Hiram Clark. Ray Hunt at the Police Officers Union said, hey, I'm not sure you want me to send that to all the officers. They might be overwhelmed with the officers. Why don't you build up the budget first? Oh, he doesn't know our listeners. He doesn't know our listeners are awesome. Drew Vickers
tell him he had 2 officers. He had 2 officers in here yesterday doing the police report. One of them got a bottle of rub, and the other they were sampling brisket, and one officer said, he said, "Oh wow, this is why you got theft." He said, "No, I'm not going to put that in the report." We all laughed, we all chuckled when he said that, but yeah. So his officers come all the time from this station over here. Like they are a big supporter. Like they eat here.
Well, it's my goal that we be able to feed them today. That would be really cool.
That's so awesome,
Paul. You know, it's funny.
That's so awesome.
Sometimes out of bad things, good things can happen. And it won't all be today, but our listeners are so amazing. I think about Elbert Wood. I think about all the things they built the RCC for us, all the things our listeners do. And our listeners are out at work, you know, going through the grind, maybe kind of in a rut, personally, professionally, marriage-wise, parent-wise, health-wise. Mm-hmm. And they go, you know what? Let me pitch in and help this guy out. That'd be nice. Let me pitch in and help this guy out. That'd be nice. So yes. And maybe another location pops up for you. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing how many restaurants are just. I had a guy on yesterday, Lucas Bakery in LaGrange, and he's trying to sell a bakery out. He'd been there for 53 years. He married the daughter of the owner, like in No Country for Old Men, when he goes out in the convenience store out back. But he's trying to get out from under it because he's tired. He's 73, 74 years old. And it's for somebody that wants a bakery on the square in a great old town that's growing and blossoming. It's perfect for somebody. It's just you got to find that right person.
A younger couple.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Well, Paul, I wish you the absolute best, you and Martha and Amaya and Paul the Fourth. And I'll be in touch. I don't know how often you check your email. Probably not, because you have barbecue sauce on your
I get alerts.
Okay, so I'm going to forward these folks along. If you would respond to them, our people are not time wasters. So if they say they're going to buy something, they're going to buy. And let's see if we can help you guys out. Keep working hard and doing the right thing. Pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you so much, Mike Berry. Have a blessed day, sir.
Hey, Mike.
Snowflakes.
Mike Berry.
Did I trigger you?
Prepare for a complete meltdown with more of the Michael Berry Show.